Hey, so it's been a second since I made a video, but today I want to talk about our autopilot mind, or our mindset that we just naturally kind of fall into without really thinking. We just do. A lot of us, probably from ages 0 to 20-ish, maybe 25-ish if you go to college, we're always going in and out and in and out of this mindset. What I mean is, once you're in a learning atmosphere or environment, you're constantly challenging yourself, so you're almost in this edit mode. Now, once you're in an edit mode, you're no longer in an autopilot mind. You literally focus/learning, so you're imprinting and going into short-term memory and hopefully into long-term memory, and this is slowly affecting your autopilot mind. But when it comes to behavior, this is where I think a lot of us kind of potentially might have some trouble, and let me express why. A lot of us, we don't really actually focus on character. We don't focus on personal development or growth. We just focus on, well, I change at a slow rate, or I don't change, or I don't even know I'm aware of my change because it's so slow. Then you have people like me who study personal development, psychology, philosophy, Bible principles, morals, characters, and then it like really makes me like, whoa, okay, I'm trying to grow here. And then I reflect out and I see people live in this autopilot mind. Now, I really want to say this, that's not a bad thing. Really, it's not. Because I mean, your autopilot mind is you not really having to think, you just kind of naturally do. And it's more relaxing, by all means. It's not like I'm having anxiety over this because, well, I'm overthinking. Now, people who have anxiety potentially are having anxiety based off just low insecurities. And that's a whole other topic, but that kind of is making you develop in your character in itself because you're questioning your character, if that makes sense. The challenge I want to, I guess, leave with you today is, well, how much of me am I living in my autopilot mind? And let's break it up into a little factors of examples. I'll give you a perfect example. So just a few weeks ago, actually by this point it's about 2 months now, I just went into a night shift position. Now for me, this threw my life all the way upside down. My whole entire autopilot mind was all that was really functioning really to get me by based off sleep deprived. I was basically sleep deprived, right? So for me to actually really function and think and have a logical approach to things, I did try to do it, but it wasn't really too functional, so my autopilot self kind of kicked in. And this is what really scared me, and this is kind of why I'm making this video. I realized there's parts of my development that, yeah, I'm in the stages of growing, but not really established to autopilot mind, and that freaked me out because I saw behavior on myself that I didn't like. I thought that was a past me, or a person that kind of outgrew that immaturity in some aspects, but then I saw on my autopilot self that, well, no, that person's still very alive. That's my go-to behavior engagement or protocol, and that freaked me out because I don't want a wild monkey, I refer it to, running me. I want a really developed, established, proactive, productive me running and living and doing life in all areas of life. Even if that means I'm sleep deprived, I want to be able to still function with love, with calmness, with logical rationale, not so emotional trigger to thinking all or nothing thinking. And this is kind of what I saw happen within my life, was I didn't care as much, or in those moments I didn't, because I was living so directly in those moments. My autopilot self was more reactive instead of proactive, and that proactive side should be my autopilot mind. At least that's what I want as time passes, and it does take time. But the lesson that I've learned was, for me to actually really establish this into my long-term memory, which thus slowly will become my habits, which then becomes my autopilot mind and self, it's going to take a while. It's going to take steps. It's going to take daily habits, daily recognizing, oh, I should be working in this area, so self-awareness needs to be really established. And I guess the thing that really leans on me and kind of like eats at me just a teensy bit, or actually quite a lot, is not enough of us are doing this. Not enough of us are actually caring to grow spiritually, mentally, even physically. I guess I can touch on that. Even on a physical side, I stopped working out based off sleep deprived. I don't want to work out. I'm slowly working the kinks out just in that area, but my autopilot mind was horrible, more or less. It was functional, but it was dysfunctional to the standards I would like to develop and live and be. And I think a lot of us, once we're really honest with ourselves, we can kind of start relating to this. Once you have an argument, what is your approach? Are you going to be basically dodging the person, giving them the silent treatment? Are you going to be patient, listen to what their viewpoint is? Or are you going to just engage, be really reactive, be more proactive? Or you might just try to go for a win-win in that moment? Or what is your autopilot mindset developed? Is it competition? Oh, they did this to me, so I gotta do this back. Or another example, you're super hungry and you want that candy bar, but you're like, well, I don't need that sugar in my life. But you're sleep deprived. Your rationale is not so there because your autopilot mind's like, well, I really want that. That kind of can refer back to more yourself wants that, your selfish desires want that. But I guess the key point, I'll try to make this short, is the challenge is, I should more or less say, is if we would start being more aware of just, well, what is my autopilot mind? What is my natural thought process? Is it positive? Is it negative? Or when I get into this situation, without thinking, what are my natural thoughts? And I guess the hard part to this all is you're going to actually have to do a lot of reflection, I guess, to be fully frank with you, because if you're going to really truly live in your autopilot mind, you're not really having a higher level of thinking. And I guess the goal in life for me personally is always to have a higher level of thinking, but there are going to be those situations where you don't really have the time to actually enter into a higher level of thinking because the moment requires the action just that quick. But if you have trained disciplines, trained protocols, scripts you already have written in your mind of, well, no, I want to act this way, I want to be this way, I will be this way in time. The key part is in time, because realistically you can't just change overnight. You can on a spiritual side with God's helping, but even in that process it's still a baby step process. It always has a time frame of development to fully establish. Hey, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I would love to hear your comments and just kind of what's your opinion on, autopilot mind. Like, do you ever have moments where you're like, whoa, I so regret that, or like, whoa, I just did that, but why? And then you're like, oh wait, that was the default setting, that was just me, but I don't like it, can I change it? And the answer is yes, you can always change it. Anyways, thank you for watching.